All right, music fans, welcome back. Captain Obvious here. No, Harmless Dave and Captain Obvious here talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, why did I say Captain Obvious? Well, I'm going to say some things that are kind of Captain Obvious in nature. If you haven't seen those commercials, by the way, where Captain Obvious shows up to sort of just state the obvious, and you might not get the reference, but that's beside the point. Richard Marx. I was talking about Richard Marx earlier in a very controversial video where I said things like, hey, I don't think violence is a good idea. Remember the days when we used to like say coexist? Remember those days? Remember the 60s when people questioned authority? And by the way, the government back in the 60s, they weren't all that happy about people questioning authority. So I was kind of doing a search, right? I was looking around and going, okay, I need to research my video. I need to really dig in and get lots of information. So I, did the keyboard warrior thing, and lo and behold, nobody's written an article about this. Sorry, I sounded like Dean Castronovo for a minute. Nobody's written an article, Dave. So nobody's written an article about Richard Marx and Rand Paul. Nobody's written that article. Rand Paul, he went on like various channels, Fox News and probably a couple other places, complaining about the fact that, the guy's almost gotten killed a couple of times, meaning Rand Paul. And he's kind of wondering why somebody would then threaten his life again or say stuff about him. And I'm thinking, let me Google this again. Let me look for this again. And still, I got nothing. So it's kind of weird. You got Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. You got Sebastian Bach. You've even got Ted Nugent on the other end of the spectrum saying stuff, and people covering it because they're thinking, oh, I can cover this. This will make Ted Nugent look like a wacko. I'll cover this because this will make Paul Stanley look so erudite and informed and in lockstep with what we put out there. We like Paul. Do you ever think that there's like laundry going on? You know how things get laundered? Do you ever think that free speech gets laundered to some degree? I do. I know that's a crazy concept, but let me get back to the whole Richard Marx thing. So I'm thinking, like Eric Clapton a couple weeks ago, Eric Clapton, and maybe I'm becoming more enlightened here and I'm noticing some stuff. And I'm going, how come they talk about this, but they don't talk about that? So Richard Marx says all this stuff and the rock media ignores it. Oh, well, Dave, Richard Marx, he's not really rock. He's kind of like this crooner, this balladeer. He really doesn't deserve coverage. Really? Richard Marx doesn't deserve coverage? I don't know. Maybe Richard Marx says this stuff so he will get coverage. Hey, Richard, guess what? It ain't working. They're not covering you. So it's pretty bizarre. It's pretty interesting that nobody is covering this. And, what's interesting is I did the video about Eric Clapton about a week or two ago. And I had mentioned that nobody had brought this up because Eric Clapton, in his diatribe, said, my hands, I couldn't use my hands. I felt like I was never going to play the guitar again. Well, that's kind of a big deal when Eric Clapton, one of the great guitar players of all time, which, by the way, Eric Clapton falling precipitously since coming out as somebody who is demonstrating some kind of critical thinking. Eric Clapton, critical thinker, thus you know, I was #1 as the guitarist, you know, best guitarist ever, and now I'm number 27, you know? Funny how that works. So getting back to Richard Marx. So I'm thinking, I'm going to find some interesting information about this. No, it's not out there. Nobody's talking about this. Wonder why they're not talking about it. Anyway, I just figured I'd put that out there as a little information to think about. You, again, you may not agree with what I'm trying to say here, but my overarching premise is that we should be able to say what we want to say within reason, you know, within just, you're not threatening somebody, which, by the way, this is the issue at hand. You're threatening somebody. And so you're doing this and you're thinking, maybe this will help generate interest in my career, or maybe I'm just so unhinged, or maybe I can't think for myself, or maybe I've been brainwashed now for 15 months to believe this one thing. Now, all of a sudden, you know, none of it works. No matter what I throw at the wall, none of it sticks. So again, just for all of you folks that were wondering why I did the video about Richard Marx, I just did it, #1, because nobody else is doing it, because for whatever reason, apparently it's not important. It's not important when a rock musician decides that he's so upset with a politician that he's willing to kind of threaten them. And I don't think threatening people is a good idea. I know that's controversial, right? I don't think, that's not the best of who we are. You like the good cliche? I like it. I like it. It's not the best of who we are. It's true. It's true. Anyway, I've lived a long time and I'd like to live longer. But as each day goes on, I wonder, I just wonder, where humanity is going at this stage. Please open up all the venues so we can go to concerts. Please make the $14 beer like maybe $5, you'll still make a small profit. It's only one bottle, right? It's just one bottle. And some of us need to go out there to just enjoy and maybe forget some of what's going on. I'd love to go out and hear some great music, and I'd like to be able to breathe at the concert, and I'd like to be able to stand next to people so I can, give them the high five treatment and, celebrate with total strangers, especially when there's a great guitar or drum solo, because that's what I do. That's what I enjoy. So yeah, that's my video. It's kind of a Seinfeld video. I haven't done one of those in a long time. And just for the sake of video entertainment, holy crap, Batman, I just haven't said it in a while. So there you go.